Hey up YouTube. So it's a bit of a miserable looking day today, guys. Well, I'm going to just give you the end of the year wrap up for SGM-garden maintenance, and what a year it has been. I'm not going to go over everything, but just going to give a chat to how the overall season has gone, and just touch upon a few sort of key points, a few sort of bullet points throughout the season. I'm probably going to do a video like this, but going through what I want or my plans for the 2025 season. Bloody hell, 2025. And also, I'll be 35 in 2025, and you know, you've got all that comes with it. I can't believe how quickly everything's going, really. You know, I always used to think, God, when I was 20, you know, that's halfway from being 40, you know, and I'm closer to 40 now, 5 years away from the big 4-0, and then you've got, bloody hell, you know, 20, I'm thinking when I'll be 40, 35, I'll be 70, you know, I'll be retired, hopefully. So, I just can't believe how quickly it just goes all the time. And that's the first thing I want to say. Just don't underestimate how quickly time goes. Time really flies. My biggest takeaway, I'll probably talk about this towards the end, but my biggest takeaway from this season is how quickly it goes. Don't underestimate it. Don't think that you have got time, don't get me wrong. When you're 20, you've got all the time in the world, but it goes so quickly. It really does. Don't put off, you know, what you can do today to tomorrow, because in my experience, tomorrow never comes. And as well, you know, you can be waiting such a long time until, like I said, you know, I've done it where I was working a crap job, both of my jobs. You know, when I worked at McDonald's, I just treaded water for so long, because I thought, oh, I'll do this next time, I'll do this next year, I'll do this. And you know, I'm not dissing people, everyone's done it. Everybody, you know, who's done jobs, they think they wish they'd have done it sooner, they think they'd have left sooner. But you know, I'm not dissing McDonald's at all, but there's people who I know who still work there, and I see them every so often, and you know, we have a chat with them, and you know, they're still there, they're still treading water. Oh, I'm going to leave next year, I'm going to leave next year, you know. And that's, I'm not dissing them, but they all say, I can't stand it, I hate it here, it's terrible, you know, it's got worse since you left, you know, all this sort of stuff. And like I said, I'm not knocking them, not moaning at them at all, not, you know, saying that they're doing it wrong or anything like that. But you know, if I wouldn't have got my thing, well, if I wouldn't have had that opportunity, I could have still been there. I'd like to think I wouldn't, but it's amazing when you get comfortable, and I think that's the problem. When you get comfortable, you get used to things, and I think sometimes you need to put yourself out of that comfort zone, you know, to be uncomfortable, and then that makes you, you know, so like going self-employed, you know, you're hungry, you're starving, you need to work, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I honestly think it's good. I think it's good for people like me, and I think if you're watching this video, you know, you're like me, hopefully not too much, as in you've got that drive and you want to do it. So anyway, the big things, the big takeaways from this year: I had my operation at the start of the year. I had the sexual realignment surgery. No, I didn't. I had my hernia repair and my stoma reversal, and I can't believe how quickly time goes. You know, to think last year, you know, this time last year, you know, colostomy bag, check, hernias, check, all that problems from that, check, and I had the operation and it's gone. Touch wood, this year I've had nowhere near the levels of pain and discomfort, you know, no problems bowel related. I've not shit myself once or twice, but you know what I mean. I'm making light art. I think every adult who is fully functional will shit themselves at some point, you know. So I'm very, very grateful, considering how I started, you know, how I ended last year to where I am now, so much better. Like I said, I'll go through thingy next year, plans for next year. Unfortunately, a little bit of a health update. I have got another hernia. It's here this time. I knew I had it. I've been saying all year that I think I've got one, and I'm pretty confident I've got one. Well, I went to my consultant and he said, yeah, you've got one. And I know the NHS isn't perfect. One of my gardening customers, and I was talking to somebody about this, it's the people who regularly call the ambulance, you know, the piss takers and all that. And people like that, you know, they are piss takers, you know, get pissed and stuff, they call the ambulance, you know, and they're the ones who get the better end of the care because they know how to play it, they know what to say. You know, one of my customers is a paramedic, and he was saying that there's one woman who routinely calls the ambulance for little trivial things, and if she doesn't think she's getting anywhere, my heart's murmuring, my heart's stopping, you know, I've got pain on my left side. Says the last time they went out to her, it all culminated down to she dropped the Sky remote and she needed it getting. And I struggle to understand it because I've only ever called the ambulance twice, and that for me was life threat. You know, I felt my life was threatened. You know, the first one I ended up having, no I didn't, once I've called it, no, twice, it is twice. After the first one, that led to that surgery and intensive care. That was after a diagnosis from the ambulance, and I went to myself to the hospital. You know, I checked myself in. That's off the back of that. And then the second one was when I got a twisted hernia. Anybody who's ever had that, it's painful. You know, so, you know, one of my customers, she said she'd never called the ambulance in her life. She's 93. She spent 5 hours on the floor with a broken collarbone. You know, even though they said, could you bring her to hospital? Well, her daughter doesn't drive, and she's 93, frail, and a broken collarbone. And then she spent 5 hours on a stretcher waiting to get her bed. So, you know, like I said, it is a bit broken, or very broken, depending on how you look at it. But for me, yeah, there was that misunderstanding where they got the paperwork wrong, but would be a crying shame without the NHS. I'll get off my soapbox, I've said my bit. You know, the NHS has been good for me and it's helped me, and I've not had to pay for it. I dread to think how much it would have cost. So, like I said, starting the year in hospital, having February off. Overall, this year's gone really, really well. I probably will do another financial breakdown showing where my income comes. I don't think it's changed too much this year, but I am waiting. I'm willing to crunch the numbers and willing to see, you know, where exactly my money has come from this year. Because, like I said, I have a diverse sort of income stream. I do the house clearances and the property checks. I do the exterior cleaning, and also I do the gardening. So, like I said, has the gardening took a hit because of the exterior cleaning? Spoilers, it hasn't. The gardening's done a lot better this year. The exterior cleanings took a bit of a hit, but I'll go on to that in the next video. So yeah, so equipment wise, one of the things I do and I don't regret it, how I see it is if I've got any spare money left over, I always budget. You know, I take my wage, and if I have a profit, and I try and put the profit back into the business. And one of the things I bought at the start of this year is a moss brush. It's not had much use at all, but do I regret purchasing it? Do I regret dropping a few £1,000s? No, I don't, because the little thing, the little cheeky chappy, he sits in the corner of the container. He's been covered up by a sheet of plywood all year this year, but I pulled him out, started first pull, or second pull. It wanted to start after the first one. After the second one, it was going. You know, a little bit of running in, fine. And I'll be honest with you, I could take that hit. You know, it's not going to pay for itself over time, but it will over time. You know, it won't be quick, but it will. But the thing is, what I've found with this industry, you never know what's around the corner. You could get a message and somebody could say to you, you know, could you come and do a quote for this? And you could get there and you could say, oh, you don't know anybody who could clean a load of moss off. I've got an apartment block, and you just never ever know in this industry. So again, that's why I'm so sort of big on having a broad range of different services. Customer wise, there's only been a few customers that I've had to get rid of this year. If you want the full story on them, I don't mind doing a video at all. Let me know in the comments. One of them where there was, I'll sum it up in the quickest fashion. One of them was basically, the son took me on to cut the grass. She wanted somebody there for an hour or 2 hours so she could divvy out the jobs. Bit of a miscommunication on their part, not mine. It did lead to me dropping the cost. Like I say, it's a long story, but I made the decision that, you know, there was too many cooks. There was the son telling me what to do, the mum telling me what to do. They all had polar opposites in what they wanted me to do, and there was me sort of in the middle trying to placate both of them. I'm not here for that, not for a 20 quid cut. And then the other one was actually a regular customer, and that's an interesting story, so I probably will cover that. And it's a classic one that the more you do for people, the more they want off you. You know, you be friendly and they think that you are friends, and as such they take advantage and put on you and take the piss. And this is what this customer did. And when I basically said enough's enough, don't want to do that, you know, can't do that, you know, that's when the tides turn basically. And in a way she gave me an ultimatum, and I chose my way, and she had to find another gardener. So again, if you want those two stories, I'll do a sort of a longer version of that. So yeah, there's only 2 customers this year I've had to bin off. There's one customer that I'm thinking next season about dropping. I'm a bit undecided. You know, the thing is, the whole point, I'm going to do a video again on this, you know, but the whole point of my ethos for my business, I've got one word, and this one word is a brilliant way of me justifying everything, is efficiency. I want to be the most efficient gardener that I can. You know, I don't see the point in somebody calling me out. You know, if somebody calls me out to do any service, I want to go in there and do it in the most quickest and efficient way possible, because me being efficient is me earning more money. I'm not there as long, I'm not dawdling, the customer's getting the best result, the customer's getting the best price, because it does reflect down. You know, by the way, I'm covering my costs first, but you get what I mean. Scott from SE Landscaping illustrated this perfectly. He does a few posts every now and then where he shows his kit, and he did a video on his, I think he posted it to the UK Lawn Care Group or UK Garden Maintenance, and it was something like it's an orange day, and he's got his tools there, he's got his big chipper, and whatever job he does, he is going to do that in the most efficient, quickest manner. Because the thing that it's taught me this year, like I said at the start of this year, is you're only here once. I only get 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days, and that's a year. So the longer I'm faffing around doing jobs and anything in life as well, I want to do, you know, run my life and be as efficient, as quick as possible. I don't want to be dicking around and wasting time and wasting resources and wasting business time and my time when I can be doing it in a quicker, more efficient manner. And it's the same when it comes down to gardening customers. In the next 3 years, I will be dropping, whether it's they age out, as in they pass away, because a couple of them are quite aged, but I will be getting rid of all of my hourly customers. The reason is it's just not, I don't need to be there for the full time. You know, I'd much rather, if people are managing properties, it's a case where I don't need to be there 2 hours every fortnight. I think with some properties I can be there and just do what needs doing, you know, once every fortnight, and then probably, or once every few weeks, whatever, and then do a full tidy up, saying, you know, the busy months once a month. And I think I can get a pricing structure that reflects that, but it's whether they'll accept that. And like I said, I think some will, some won't. You know, kit wise as well, I'm thinking next year of changing the van. Me and the missus at some point, probably the next 2 or 3 years, are going to look at probably a house together. You know, a lot can change in that time, but one of the things I don't want to do is to get a mortgage and a house and this van goes bang. I've got its MOT in January, so I'm going to find out a little bit more then. You know, that's always a bit of an insight. And then depending on the thing of that, I'm probably going to look at, you know, upgrading the van. I'm thinking of getting a bigger vehicle, probably a Citroen Relay sort of size van, short wheelbase but the high roof. I want something that, this van I've had now for 8 years. Think about it, I've had it 8 years. And again, I want something that will last me. I want something that will stand me the course of time. You know, even probably a transit sized. I'll do my own research whether I get a new van or whether I get a second-hand van, but I want one that's got the longest possible warranty, the longest possible sort of, you know, the best sort of maintenance on it. As I said, every van from what I can gather has got problems. You know, so I'm not too fussed on recommendations, because ultimately, you know, there's no point me getting a man van, whatever they are, and there's none near me, if they're the best van to you. Just the same as VW, you know, if there's no VW near me, I'll just have to have a little look. But like I said, I'm looking at getting a bigger van to future-proof my business. You know, I need the ability to carry that little bit more. You know, and I just don't know. The thing is, with the business, you don't know where it's going to go. It might be a case where I'll have ride-on jobs in the next couple of years, and I want something where I can drive a ride-on straight in. It might be a case where, you know, I'm doing more hedge and tree jobs, so I'll get a nice decent chipper, something that you can just wheel straight in. I just don't know, and this is the thing, I just don't know where it's going to take me. So I want to get, you know, not a huge van, I'm not going to go out and buy a jumbo Sprinter, but, you know, something of a little bit bigger, one where I can stand up in it. I think that would be the cock for Dolly. So again, I'll be looking at that in a not so distant future, all being well. So as I said, overall, mentally, physically, it's been a good year. This year has been hard. The weather's not been as bad this year, to be fair, but I think with everything there's always challenges. We are lucky in the sense that no matter what happens, I'd say we're recession proof to a degree, because a recession doesn't make everybody skint. There's always going to be people who've got money, there's always going to be people who haven't got money, so we're always going to be protected by that by some extent. There's always people who don't want to garden, can't be asked to garden, or isn't able to garden. When I look at my customer base, I can say this, I will touch a little block of wood like I always do. If anybody ever wonders why I'm doing that, I am a bit sort of superstitious. But when I look at my customer base, I feel confident with that customer base. I feel reassured by them. They are, you know, the majority of my customers, yes, they are OAPs. But, you know, I know some people like working for them, some people don't. But, you know, they've got many years left in them. They've got good values, so they value me, they appreciate me. I've just done Christmas, I've just done my Christmas card drops. You know, it always warms my heart, you know, the fact and I always say to customers every year, I always say, here's a little summit. So this year I've done biscuits and cards, and, you know, you get it where people are genuinely happy. And I always say to them, my reason for doing it is a thank you. I genuinely appreciate my customers. My customers, for me, we aren't friends, but you get what I mean. It's a hybrid of the two. We get on, you know, they know me, I know them, and it's a thank you to them. It's a thank you for employing me. I know it shouldn't be like that, and they don't take it like that, because they always say, well, no, thank you, you know, you're making a positive impact to our lives, you know. And, you know, whether it's me turning up when I say I do and doing a good job, or whether it's me having a little chat with them, but they do, and they're so appreciative, and I'm appreciative of it. So, you know, like I said, and I'll be honest with you, some people have given gifts, some people have put, you know, a little bit of money in cards. And one of the things I always do with the money is I always bank it. Should you put it through the books? We're going to say I put it through the books. It's not a huge amount, but one of the things I always do is I always try. It's very rare I treat myself to things, but one of the things that I do is I always treat myself something really nice off the back of that. I don't blow it, I don't go for a takeaway or a meal out, as in I always get something physical for it. And I always do it and look back at the customers and think, you know, in a way they've clubbed together and got me that. You know, so I'm going to find something really nice this season and treat myself with it. I'd say if you have been struggling mentally or physically, my email address is there. I'll always do my best to try and answer a question, whether it's over an email or doing a video. It's part of me. I'm not a pessimistic guy, but I do look at the whole situation. I do think as an industry it's going to get harder, but at the same time there'll always be people who need it. Recession, doesn't matter. There'll always be people who've got money, there'll always be people who haven't got money. At the end of the day, if it needs it doing, it needs doing. You know, they've got to find the money. COVID, if there's another COVID, we are COVID proof. We can always work outdoors as long as we don't get it. So look after yourself, do what you need to do. You know, I'm not saying get jabs and stuff, but you know, don't put yourself in situations where you can be ill. Look after yourself. I know I'm no paradigm of health, but I do genuinely try and look after myself as best as I can. You know, don't put yourself in any risks. Just remember, there is always going to be good customers out there. Always. There's people, I've said this before, there's people out there that will do whatever they can to raise your business. They're your top tier. There's the middle crowd, they'll always come and go. There's always people who just want a gardener, they'll leave you to it. They're good people, but there's always little horrible parasites. They're like little sucker fish that will just latch onto you and just feed off you, you know. And they're the people who take the piss, put on you. They're the people who expect you to do stupid stuff in the name of you're a gardener, you know, it's your job. You know, they're the people who will expect you to just do stupid, ridiculous, you know. It's like one of my customers down the road from them. There's a bloke who's, you know, he's a window cleaner, and where the window is, the bay window, that's where the power comes in. And as he's cleaning, he's like about a foot away, and I just think to myself, yeah, you shouldn't do it, but then at the same time, that customer, it's a duty of care. That customer clearly does not give a fuck about that bloke. If she's willing, you know, they could ring the power company and they'll come receive that for free. They don't care. So there's always people like that that will just don't care about us as a person, us as an industry. You know, they will have a gardener once a season, once a year, twice a year, because they just don't care. One of the things that I noticed that I've not had this year, when I first started my business, I had the Golden Promise story lady who I talked about. I had another customer, and they used to ring me up religiously at the start of the season. So years 2, years 3, start of the season, ring up. I haven't heard of them, so whether they've passed on, I think one of them is in the home now, or she's dead, I don't know. But you know, they are like little parasites, and they'll always keep trying, and it's just so they can save money. Or, you know, and I think sometimes it like transcends money. I genuinely think some people get a kick out of basically, you know, being a horrible person, you know, because if they've got the money, why do they need to do tricks to get, you know, extra money offers or save a bit of money? And I just think for them it's sport, I really do. And you know, I do think it will get worse. I think you'll always see, you know, you'll see more people like this, but you've just got to remember, as your business grows, you will see more people like that, because it's the law of averages. It's the more people you serve, the more customers you get, the more quotes you do, the more horrible people you'll come across, the more arseholes, because, as I said, it's the law of averages. So have a good day, guys. As usual, keep on gardening. It's been a fabulous year, 2024 has, and the only thing I can do and say is thank you for coming along for the journey. If you're still here, you know, bonus. I will keep posting the videos. Like I said, I do try and do a healthy-ish mix, but I think this channel will always be talky videos, or my point of view, but I always try and see it from both sides. So have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.